Welcome to the HR Elevate, Miss Suparna. A brief introduction. Miss Suparna here is manager for leadership and talent assessment at Larsen Toubro for last almost 3 years, and she pursued her MBA from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar in 2020. So, welcome, Miss Suparna, to HR Elevate podcast.
Thank you so much, Nishant. Thank you so much.
So, before we get into the deeper questions, I'm curious, what was your cue to get into HR?
So I started my career with as a software engineer. So I did my bachelor's in technology in electronics and communication from West Bengal, and then I worked as a software engineer. And after that, I decided to do my master's. Now the question is, like there were multiple streams of finance, marketing, human resources, operation were the four major streams.
Mhm.
Now, while I was in TCS, it has paved my way towards human resources, I should say, because I knew people in there in human resources. I used to interact with them, try to understand what they do. As a software engineer, I was a support person, and I was working for one of the major clients of Tata Consultancy Services. But however, I used to interact with multiple stakeholders in TCS. Now, one of the
Mhm.
departments used to interact with human resources, and that it was an initial part. But I would say that my childhood has like a lot of contribution in that. My father was a central government employee, and
Okay.
he had a transferable job. So we have been, me and my mother have been to many multiple places, some beautiful places he have been posted, and we have been there. So I had learned very quickly how to adapt to new surroundings, new schools, meet new people, make friends. Feel like that
Okay.
experience has helped my career and my future, in HR. And here I am today. So I always wanted to do a job that would be around people, make a difference, enjoy helping others, fostering a very positive work environment, and facilitating employee growth and development. Always had a natural aptitude for problem solving, and enjoy finding solutions to complex situation, which was one of the reasons I would say that I am in HR now. Feel that HR plays a very crucial role in shaping organization culture, talent management, overall success. And uh, today also there are organizations which doesn't have proper human resource department, and employee feel that there are no policies, there are nothing structured in the company. They do not see a growth in that organization. There are many of my friends are there in such organization. When I interact with them, I understand the pain point. So I feel that HR act as a voice for employees, ensuring a very fair treatment, advocating for their rights, so that everyone is in the same page. And I, as an individual, am very passionate about social justice, I would say, equality, promoting positive work environment, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has gravitated me towards this function.
That's quite interesting. You are not just working towards your interest, you are working towards a vision to
Yeah,
provide better support to employees.
yeah, I'd say that.
That's very interesting. So, as you have been on both sides of the table, as an employee, as a employee at TCS, and now as an HR at L&T, how has your understanding of HR vertical changed from being someone who interacts with HR and to someone in the HR team?
Very different. Like when I was in the other side of the table, I would have an understanding that, I would know that it's a very people centric role. They have to talk to people. They would go on floor visit. They used to come for floor visit. They used to tell people that, you are not following the dress code policy. yeah, what, so people used to ask questions about, medicals and all those things. Even I was
Mhm.
one of those people. He used to ask question about a lot of policies and stuff like that. So when I was studying and I was in TCS, so I know that HR involves working closely with employees, addressing their needs and concern. Operational, I used to think that this is a very operational and administrative responsibilities, managing records, payroll, maintaining system, designing policies, you know uh, are ensuring that the organization policies and practices are aligned with the legal requirements and industry standards and all those things. But when I came to the department, I understand that it's a lot more than what employees perceive. So they have a lot of more responsibility. So one of the core three responsibilities, other than what I have talked about, that what employees perceive, is they act as an advisor and as a champion of the board of members, especially the CEO. HR professionals are much more dynamic and play a very essential role in business long-term talent development and management strategy, because every business strategy have an HR strategies inbuilt in it. Because making talent strategy, just like Larsen and Toubro, we also have our Lakshya 5-year plan, Lakshya
Okay.
10-year plan, and 15 years perspective plan. So here also HR strategy is inbuilt in it, and HR strategy is derived from the business strategy.
Okay.
So here CHRO and the entire department act as a crucial role, where there are workshops happening every year, where we are deciding on what will be the Lakshya 5-year HR strategy, which is derived from the business strategy. And it also depends upon the what is going on in market.
True. Okay.
So that this knowledge allow HR professionals provide a more informal and insightful perspective to the CEOs. What is happening? What employees are talking about? While HR is once was a transactional position, today it is completely a strategic position. Handling staffing challenges, workforce evolution, transform this department into a very strategic function. Now, second thing that I have seen that, balancing employee and organizational need. The HR
Mhm.
professionals often find themselves navigating the delicate balance between advocating for employees' well-being and become the voice of the employee and aligning with the organizational objective.
Yeah.
This dynamic has more nuance than the challenges that we can anticipate actually. Now, a third and most important role, which we have seen very recently after COVID, post-pandemic, digitalization has become very important with the changing business scenario. Organization has invested in technology that improves hiring, influence retention rates, improve people lives also. So technologies like application tracking system, learning management system, chatbots for employees queries and surveys, HR central online portal like success factors for managing employee life cycle has created an enormous business impact, and we have all moved to working virtually, as you have seen, and HR has made that possible. And fourth and the last very important that I have seen is that continuous learning and adaptation. In this like VUCA environment, HR is very dynamic with the evolving changes in the industry that we have seen in the last 3 years after 2020. Technologies, laws have changed, regulation have changed, practices, industry practices have reformed, and HR professionals have always have to keep themselves very updated and adapt the new practices of the industry what other organizations are following, like work from home policy. So many people are now, many organizations are working remotely, completely remote. They are.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
expectation of the ongoing learning and professional development may be greater than what is perceived by employees.
That's very interesting. All these new policies, especially post-pandemic, it was a catalyst for the organizations and even more so for the HR vertical because all the employee functions had to go through HRs. So it was a catalyst for HR functions to create new policies and workflows. So what was your experience facing a crisis, a once in a lifetime crisis, just as you joined an organization?
I was joined during pandemic. L&T, I joined L&T in 2020. So just the peak of the pandemic, and there was a little bit delay in joining. During pandemic, L&T has shown lot of things. They have done a lot of things for their employees during COVID. Lot
Okay.
of reformations, lot of policies, lot of medical benefits, work from home, everything and anything, whatever was required and needed by the employee was given. So that is why employee could really appreciate, where other organizations were laying off and people were losing their jobs. L&T was maybe one of the few organizations who were stick to their employees. uh, Other than sticking to their employees, they were doing everything and anything which is possible. So I have seen, as an HR department, we have to work really hard. We have worked and we have seen very difficult times during that time, losing our colleagues to pandemic were some difficult things that we have done, but a lot of initiatives we have taken which has helped during COVID. you know I'll say one of the major challenges that I've faced, managing hybrid and remote working and adapting to new HR practices and technologies was one of the things which I have seen in L&T. Post pandemic, we have seen advancement in technology. We have to uh, do that,
Hmm.
and changes in HR policies and practices in industry. So staying up to date and adapting new tools and system and methodologies can be a significant challenge for a large organization with an employee base of 50,000, and which is spread across 50 plus countries. So that was one of the biggest challenges. But we could like we have done a lot. We have collaborated, and it was all teamwork that has helped us adopt a voluntary remote and hybrid work policy that empowered employees to do what best for them, to work with their teams, and supervisors to decide what they want their schedule to look like. And there were we have developed people managers into coach leaders who can manage workforce equitably and effectively wherever they are. We have educated them on unconscious bias that could favor all team members. It's not about whoever is coming to office. Like, all team members are putting, we are judging them, we are assessing them on their productivity, not whoever is coming to office or whoever is not. We have taken measures for keeping employees engaged, motivated, on track with the tailored developmental plans and goals. In last 3 years, L&T has gone through a huge digital, uh, reformation, where a quantum leap has been taken, both the at organizational level, at business level, everywhere. We have adopted new technologies like Microsoft Teams and Zoom for video collaboration, converting the talent management process entirely through digital platform, which is my department. So it is entirely digital
Okay.
and virtual. Before pandemic, it was not that. It was all in hybrid mode, or in we have to visit a lot, and it was all in person. Now then we have also adopted application tracking system, was adopted for hiring talents. So we have now
Hmm.
our own platform for it. Now, new LMS platform was also launched. New different micro learning platforms were used, and virtual trainings were encouraged. So we have more than 4-5 lakhs learning hours we have achieved in a year at that point of time.
That's
And
wow. That's admirable.
yeah, so a lot of things has been done with respect to the development, so that employees, they are themselves updated. And because a lot of changes are happening, we should focus on growth oriented skills, which is digital touch as well as human touch should be there. And we feel that people were going through a lot. Keeping pulse check was very important for all the HR employees. So introduced a lot of chatbots were introduced, which is called Hira in our organization. So Hira was launched with multiple surveys to track employee pulse. So a lot of digital transformation have happened, and to take care of that, it has taken a lot of efforts, and all the HR team has worked collaboratively to implement that in Larsen and Toubro Group.
Okay, so I have a question. What does it mean to track the employee pulse?
To understand what they are feeling, what they are doing every day. Like, we generally throw out random surveys where employee can just click. It's like a pop-up that will come, and they can just put their emotions, like what they are feeling today: happy, confused, sad, what is happening, so that we can understand which department or what function is doing like what, which will help
Okay,
us design uh, and strategize different engagement initiatives, different developmental initiatives, and to address employee queries also. So that is
okay,
also because in chatbots, all the basic employee queries are being resolved. If anything is there by HR to reply, then they have to raise a ticket in there, and the HR can resolve it. The HR business partner can resolve it as quickly as possible.
okay.
So those are the things that are very important. We feel that was very important because the communication gap should not be there.
True,
Employees should not feel that they're not able to reach out HR. That should not be the
true,
case.
true. So Hira, the chatbot, allows for that.
Yes, yes.
Now, in all this journey, what are the initiatives that you came up with or you spearheaded during your 3 year stint?
Yeah, there were multiple initiatives. In most of the initiatives that I have worked upon is in talent management space.
Mhm.
So in talent management space, I have conceptualized and initiated integrated business specific mega project leadership development program. So as you know that it is a project management company, and we always look out for people in project management space, but getting that right kind of talent sometimes becomes very difficult. So as L&T always believe in creating its own and building its own talent from the beginning of their career. So whenever a GET joins, the person should be, start introducing in his or her curriculum of in his career growth all the specific competencies he or she should be oriented upon, which are required for a project directors and project managers to be. Ultimately, we are handling projects, and most of our projects are government projects, so are in high critical and nation building projects. Now, these projects are ranging from 1,000 crores to 24,000 crores. Now, to handle this amount and huge projects, Nishant, we need project directors and project managers of with a lot of competencies. Sometimes getting
True.
that difficult. Even we have to go outside India to hire project directors, expatriates. We hire a lot of expatriates from China, Philippines, Russia, because sometimes there are certain competencies which are not there. So
Okay.
that is why I have designed and this mega project leadership development program where employees will, from start of their career only, they will be oriented on competencies and functional and behavioral competencies which is required for L&T. When GET or a PGET join L&T, the person should know what is going to be his or her career growth in next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line. If you cannot see your future in a particular organization, if you see that where this path is taking me to, you will not feel motivated in working in that organization, and eventually you will leave. to find some better prospects and opportunities outside. We don't want that. In that space also, so we designed and deployed a career and future leadership development initiative for new hires, where they will be, told about what is your career gonna be in next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And if you want to become as a civil and mechanical engineer, every engineer one is L&T is their dream company. They are looking for a role, project managers and project directors. So how can they reach that position? We have to tell them this, you have to do this thing so that you can reach that position tomorrow. So that is what this program is doing, career and future leadership development initiative. Then I have designed 360-degree feedback for critical high value project leadership, which
Wow.
will help to understand how the person is doing, and it will help to create a succession planning. It is part of the succession planning framework. Now, mentorship, coaching, also I have conducted programs upon. Then designing career paths for job functions. A lot of I was part of the heavy civil infrastructure business. So all the job functions, I have designed a career path for all the critical roles like planning engineer, finance accounts and admin department, contracts, project directors, project managers. All these are very critical roles in L&T, in heavy civil infrastructure business. So creating career development and succession planning module implementation, which was now digital,
Okay.
is very important. So I am today a planning engineer. If I want to become a project director, what is my path look like, and what are the things I have to do? It's all digital. A person can go online and can see
That's
entire.
interesting. So, the PGETs and GETs are the trainees that you work with,
Yes.
the new hires, I presume.
Yes, yes. We hire
So,
from IITs and government and NIT colleges, and they are joined and they go through a lot of programs and induction and orientation. Then they are deployed in different project sites
okay.
and they start working.
Okay, so there is a predisposed connotation to hire from premier institutes so that you get the best of. Even then, as you mentioned, many a times you have to hire expats.
Yes, for critical roles. Like I would like to give an example of when I was hiring for Chennai Metro Rail projects. So if the metro has to go from underground, so the tunnel has to be prepared, right? So for this
Yes.
tunneling to be done, so in India we do not have any institute. There is no institute in India which
Wow.
gives a tunneling certification or do an academy program on tunneling. There is nothing like that. In L&T only there is a tunneling academy where they given a training programs on tunneling and all those talked about how NATM works, and so there is a lot of things. Now, getting this kind of project directors and project managers, it was very difficult because you do not find it in India. Now you to go outside. Now, how do you search for talents like that? With an
Very
experience,
true.
the clients were government clients. Now, government clients will ask for an experience of 15, 20 years. They should have masters in tunneling. They should have at least 15, 20 years in tunneling experience. Because even the amount of project that we are getting, governments is giving us, you cannot even go outside your company just to hire from some other company. Let us take it from some other company, or it's not like that. It's not easy, very difficult. So now we have to search for talent outside and getting them onboarded, come to India, join L&T, because L&T is a brand in itself. So we
True.
just have to convince them the kind of we have to explain them the criticality of the positions. They have a future here, how the Indian culture works, how they we can establish them, how can we can establish their family in here. So it's entire, it's a beautiful process that I would say that it was also one of the challenging situations that I've gone through.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's not something I had in mind when I would think about L&T at the first glance.
Yeah.
So during all this long journey and working with new projects and trying to find the right people at colleges in India and outside, What were the biggest challenges that you faced and how did you tackle them?
Few critical positions always is there. It is very difficult to close those positions. um, we always try to see different strategies that we can implement with respect to searching for candidate, hiring for international location. I said this few we have to go for international locations. Then we have our own process. We have created our digital portal where we have application tracking system. We are getting resumes, we are shortlisting them, we are reviewing them, we are conducting interviews. So leveraging the L&T's employer brand and promoting what kind of critical position, value proposition to attract the top talent is one of our things. And we actively search for passive candidates who may not be actively seeking employment right now, but may possess the desired skills and qualification. We always keep our talent pool online, and we heavily invest in succession pipeline planning, where what will be the positions right now, whoever is who can take on the position after 2 to 5 years down the line, when these positions. So it's always there is n minus 1, there is n minus 2 is always prepared. So we always seek that whether we can fill those positions internally through job rotation, because it's a huge company. It has 23 businesses, services, high tech manufacturing, lot of businesses are there. So employees keep on rotating. Now,
Okay.
whenever we feel that the talent is not there, we hire from outside. So we define the positions, develop an effective job description, implement effective sourcing strategies, utilize various channels to attract diverse talent pool. And this can include job boards, professional networks, social media, referrals, industry specific associations, recruitment process, agencies, consultants. So we work with them, and uh, we try to handle all the critical position that we have.
That's quite interesting, and that's quite a challenge too, knowing the unpredictability of when a person might leave the organization, preparing for it, and not just for one position, but for thousands and lakhs of it.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been a really insightful conversation. Thank you, Mr. Suparna.
Thank you, Nishant.